Dorkheads, and everyone in between, and welcome to tonight's episode of Dungeons and Dorkheads! There's an alligator on the logo.
I prefer Dorkheads.
So we got some news, don't we?
We
do.
Oh,
We
man.
finally got the Orphan token!
Oh my god.
We didn't have that last week.
I thought it was
No,
big.
last week it was still the RuneScape. But at this point in the production timeline, we finally got the art, and that one episode finally went up. The one that you guys didn't like. But we
What?
fixed everything. Don't worry about it.
Everything's been fixed.
Everything's been fixed, and we have our
Literally
awesome
everything.
sponsor and longtime friend of the channel to thank for that, Green Man Gaming, even though they didn't help us do that in the slightest. Green Man Gaming, a fantastic website to get all the discounts on all the games. You should check out that new Lego Star Wars. That actually looks pretty good. Or, let me think, what else is out? You might be able to buy the new Horizon game over there. You don't know. Head down to the link below and see what you can dig up there in those amazing deals. They are not G2A. They get game keys directly from the developers, so they are 100% above board. None of that garbage reselling keys by scammers and then taking away those keys 3 weeks later and making me pissed that I just wasted $40 on a shitty game that I wanted to stream once.
Green Man
Thank you.
Gaming fixed my erectile dysfunction.
That too! I think the moral here is fuck G2A. Green Man Gaming is the best. And we also would like to thank Foundry Virtual Tabletop for putting up with us every week. Because they do have a great digital tabletop here. I finally figured out how to use most of it. Before session here, I was fiddling with the controls. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We're having some fun with it. Just don't try to do whatever the fuck that dungeon map was.
Difficulties.
Very, very difficult. Anyway. That's about it from me. So
So,
I'll hand it over to Steve.
once again, I do thank everyone for returning, players and viewers alike. And hopefully we can continue this fantastical adventure, and hopefully some more interesting things will be happening tonight. So, everyone, put on those sweet jingly hats, grab your wicked elixir, and let us get into the Dark Carnival.
Woo.
Oh no. Well,
Whimsy and joy.
Oh, I
Whimsy,
completely
joy, and pain.
forgot where we last left
that's part of the fun.
off.
I remember. Vaguely. Let's see if I remember this.
No,
What
I do
happened
remember
last
now.
week, and it's been a
I
couple
do
weeks.
remember now, but
Where we left off, our war chief and friends found themselves in the lovely town of Boudreaux. It's this little town over here. Pointing it out right here on the map. Zach found himself in the place of the village chief, and they were getting ready for a coronation, I guess, of sorts. I'm not sure coronation is the right word, but it's a ceremony nonetheless. And not out of the question that some sort of dark, sinister, evil clown stuff is afoot.
Don't worry about it.
Meanwhile,
Don't worry about it.
the rest of the party was doing all sorts of shit. Orvid took up scroll making, spell scroll making. Nicholas kind of joined in on that. Sandra went off and did her own thing at the pub and the market and a couple of other things. We're finally going to get that gilded acorn soon. And then some point during the night, I had a pie in my face, which was fantastic. It's the first it's the first time in this campaign Sandra gets to sleep in an actual bed and you throw a pie in my face. Good job. You jerks. And then she,
pie.
despite the defenses she put in place, like a note on the door that says no clouds except Zach in 4 different languages, and a salt barrier. But then, a certain clown walked in the front door. Thankfully, while Sandra was in the other room, otherwise there'd be daggers in his face right about now. We don't know his name per se, but I'm gonna call him Bonko.
They are they. Please don't misgender them.
I'm gonna call him Bonko.
Again, they
Say.
call them Bonko, if you will.
That's what I said.
No. Anyways.
Ridiculous gender terminology aside, that's where we left off. I'm trying, alright? So, who'd like to go first?
Well, with the entrance of the smiling face with greased face paint decorating their smile, a semi-familiar face grin in the direction of those who are currently eating breakfast. Zach, your eyes lock with theirs. So, what are we doing first?
Hello.
Zach, who is this?
I would just say reinforcements
I go ahead.
in a way.
I go ahead and walk into the room. Who the heck is this?
A guest. And see if we can get them to help
Details?
with the whole preparations for festivities for the ceremony of my newfound and apparent control over this place.
So
See if we can
none.
get the initiations to be a bit more festive and cheerful, as it were, to be less.
So none
This.
details.
I suppose a friend of yours is a friend of mine. Nice to meet you.
I roll.
Meet all
for-
of your acquaintances as well.
I roll for investigation on the clown.
I would like to do that as well.
Is it not?
Seems suspicious.
Are you investigating or inciting? Because investigating would be walking over to them and searching them up
You
and
know what?
down.
You know
Inciting
what?
then,
Yeah, you're
inciting
right.
then,
You're right.
Inciting then. Inciting then.
I'm gonna do an insight on this fucker.
Cool.
17. Not
Figure
bad.
out what. Oh, wow. Okay. I have a +5 in insight.
Go on.
Slash D20 plus 5.
Also a 17. Nice.
Okay, 2 17s.
Nice.
Sure.
So, as both Nicholas and Sandra, Nicholas currently sitting at the table and Sandra standing in the doorway, they at first are looking at Zach, and then their head turns and locks eyes first with Nicholas, and then turns again and locks eyes with Sandra. And in that moment, you just feel a chill run across your spine. And you swear, as you're looking into this individual's eyes, you hear far in the distance. And they smile. You see the canines of their smile are quite large, quite sharp. And they just slowly turn and lock eyes with Zach once again. You get the feeling this person, they are certainly just a being of pure chaos. Their intent of being malicious? You don't think so. But you do not know what to expect. But Zach, compared to this individual, Zach, you're starting to learn to understand in some way. This is a true wild card. Another clown. Another devoted to the honk mother. And this one, you would assume, has a much deeper devotion. And you don't know what horrors lie past that. Sandra, you're almost standing on the edge of your hooves. You know that you'll have to be checking every door and be prepared around every corner for either buckets of water, pies, flowers squirting water in your face. While you aren't truly afraid for your life, you do know this is probably going to be really fucking annoying for you, Sandra.
I'm gonna grab a plate full of food and head back to my room.
So,
As I'm leaving the room, I call out to Nicholas. Hey, Nicholas, we still on for looking at cannons today?
Sure.
Awesome. I'll see you then.
so,
So, one moment.
what we doing, Ringmaster?
Yeah, Zach, what we got planned for the day? Isn't it a big day?
Well, let's look over what is exactly in progress for the carnival, at least. We got the fair. We've got the actual carnival fair food going. We've got an attempt to at least kind of see what these orcs can do for actual merriment in terms of actually getting the tailoring done for tents, an actual big tent, because I don't feel like
the magic shop being for a good candidate.
I could not hear you. Let me raise your volume.
Oh. I was talking about the orc in charge of the magic emporium. Hold on.
Out of character, I do want to get Zach and the Magic Emporium guy in the same room, just to see what would happen.
My train of thought has been completely derailed. What? Bro. We got the carnival fair. We got carnival tents. We got... I don't know what the state of the wicked elixir transportation is precisely. My plan is to... Since these these orcish people are in need of some assistance. And I believe that through the sheer whims of fate, I, as effectively the most humble of clowns, have found myself here, can direct them towards a more whimsical path. I've got several attempts at getting things going. Oh, okay, one second. I'm getting distracted.
I think now's a good time to pause. These are delicious pancakes. Now, what were you saying, Zach? Not that I'm in the room.
On the docket, checking on how the carnival stuff's progressing. The food, tents, merchants, vendors,
The
games.
Hawks.
That
See
goat
if it-
always yell from down the hallway.
She's loud. It's fun.
No, I'm not.
She's
I can get
actually
behind it.
fun.
See how that elixir
I'm
you
a
said you were
fawn,
going to bring
you
is going.
dork.
And definitely see if the bananas we ordered are in for the pies. They're chocolate right now, which is okay, but it's not banana cream, you know?
Oh, no worries. I got all that.
Now,
And,
so to think.
And, you know, they pull out from. You don't really know where behind them. They just kind of like reach backwards and then emerge with a. It is a small, like, cloth bundle that you'd estimate it's about a foot in length, and you know, it's large enough where you kind of have to like put two hands around it if you want to, you know, wrap your hands around it. But they pull it out and approach and set it on the table in front of you.
Oh, sweet.
So, that is just for you for now. Don't worry. We got more to go around.
Yes. As for the plan, well, these orcs are hurting for some miraculous help due to their circumstances, and some fate's chosen to give them a clown for a leader. This clown might as well lead him into the Dark Carnival's open arms. Just seems to be the way the wind is going. Might as well keep it a-blowing. Make things work out the way they want. Just because if for some reason they want a clown, might as well clown on them with it.
Oh,
But I don't just want to just jest with it. I want to actually prove to them how well mirthful guidance can help them. Especially if they're apparently not doing so well on the smiling and strength bits. It's like they've forgotten how to be orcs.
tell you right now that certainly a small army of face-painted orc warriors and little trickster goblins. That sounds fantastic to me. I'm sure the Honk Mother would be pleased. So, for now, we'll see how this is going. But the carnival has arrived. The tent is being erected as we speak. And according to what plans that I have at least been dictated, we shall be ready for tonight.
Very well.
So, as you know, the circus is good at packing up, moving, and setting up again. If you are prepared, then certainly we will be ready for you. If you require anything else, certainly do ask. there are a number of us that easily can take care of what you may need.
Of course. Tonight, then.
Tonight, then. Well, if there was not anything else as of right now,
That is all.
right. Well, stay smiley. And they give you a nod, and then almost as they are standing there, they're standing mostly, straight back, looking directly at Zach. And then the second they turn, as you expect them to, walk towards the exit, they throw their upper half of their body and just start cartwheeling and just cartwheel right out the front door.
Well, you don't see that every day now, do you?
Before
No.
he has a chance to get all
God,
the
I
way-
wish I was more dexterous.
Before he has
You
a
didn't
chance
see this.
I'm around the corner. I typed that to Steve and didn't tell anybody.
Sure.
Before
Sure.
he gets all the way out the... No, I did. Before he gets all the way out the door, I want to cast Hunter's Mark on him.
Let's see how that goes.
that-
Lol.
Is that a... Will he know that you did that?
Will,
Is that
I
like-
don't know if he will know that I did that. I don't know if he
They-
can detect it.
Yeah, we don't know
Hey.
if they'll do it.
He cannot roll against it, though.
It's a thing.
They-
They're a thing.
would carefully read the ability before you do something.
Oh, I'm
bold
very
like
aware
that.
of what it does.
Okay, I just
All
want
right.
to be sure with whatever you get yourself into.
Just double check here. Do
90 feet, 1 hour.
right?
I feel like, strictly speaking, it
Yeah.
should be impossible.
No, I mean, yeah, you certainly mark them. It doesn't, do anything beyond,
I just want to know where he is for the next hour. Get a general idea.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about, you knowing their location.
You get advantage.
Yeah, advantage on
Good
any
luck that'll do
perception
if
or
you have no
survival
clue
check
where
to
he is,
find
though.
him.
But
All right, so if you wish to attempt to find the clown, then you will be able to more proficiently track them down. But so, you continue hanging around the corner, waiting, and everyone else, you are continuing your breakfast. Zach, you see the bundle still sitting in front of you.
I'm gonna open that.
So, do you just open it in front of everyone, or?
Yeah. No special, no slow inspection.
So,
What harm could a friendly clown's package do to me?
so
You
as you
poor soul.
as you reach out and grab it and pick it up, you definitely feel something moving inside, which, it's not hard to deduce that there is a liquid in here.
Oh,
Oh.
And as you, without even needing to unwrap it, you know what this is.
Yes. This goes into the bag.
So you can go ahead and add a bundle, and you know what it is. So, but everyone else, you kind of just like look at Zach picking this bundle up and then placing it into their bag.
That's not ominous at all.
So what exactly do you think that is?
Very, very important stuff for the ceremony, don't you worry.
Well, alright.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm interested to see the conclusion of all of this.
Well, it should end in the orcs at least getting some kind of rallying moment towards this, what would you qualify it as? Civil war, I suppose?
Internal affair.
Some. Guess if I'm to establish power down south, I would like you as an ally.
That would be very useful, yes.
So we can see about these troublemakers down in Okra, right?
Hmm. 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 Where's Granite Keep again? Zach has genuinely no clue about freaking global.
It looks
Sandra
like it-
walks in the room with a map.
South of Korlath ruins.
Sandra, do you just stay in the corner all the time? Is that what you do? You just
I don't trust you. Or him.
stand.
Well, that's a little uncalled for.
You just relax, clear, be near, you know.
She points at Granite Keep. This is Granite Keep. It's down south near the orphanage, close to Melikar, actually.
You sure they'd be able to get up here in time to do anything? Suppose it was a couple days travel.
Mostly flat land. You saw what it's like coming from the Korlath ruins. If they go from Edgeville, it might be a little bit longer.
Help would be appreciated, surely.
Not
So-
too familiar with the routes.
Sandra, can you go ahead
Mhm.
and roll a knowledge history check? Since there's no geography in 5th edition.
That's a +3. Wait, what am I
I'll-
rolling?
History, which I'll say with your background, if you aren't adding your proficiency bonus, go ahead and add your proficiency bonus to this.
+6, alright. 3 + 6. 11.
Alright, so looking at the map, you kind of already know some of this. There are some trade routes that run from Medcon to Granite Keep. The main issue being the Edgerun River that splits the continent. The river that it cuts through the forest near Edgeville and goes north of the Gnome lands. That Edgerun River, there aren't a ton of bridges. There is a, centralized bridge area near one of the towns in the Gnome lands. If you can really call it a town. The gnomes have a more unique way of establishing their settlements. But besides, traveling through the corner of the Gnome lands, the only other real bridge that would have gone across the Edgerun River would have been through Dawnbreak into Steadfast, and, well, you kind of know what happened to that.
Hmm.
So, the that river is something that more or less divides the continent, and since I'll say you probably would not know much about how it affects all of the other settlements surrounding the Edgerun River. But you know that there is a trade route, so it's not like they're trekking uncharted territory or anything, but it is they have to use a bottom exit of Granite Keep, go through the Gnome Lands, and skirt close to Edgeville, and Edgeville is a place,
What if they took the subrails?
The what?
Sandra pulls out another map, one that you haven't seen before, and we don't have this on Foundry, but I'm putting it in the dungeon chat, and it is available on the interactive map in the description.
So,
Have you never heard of the Dwarven subrail, Zach?
Is it haunted?
No, it's
Then no.
used all the time.
No, fortunately.
Should Orvid know about this?
Orbit should definitely know about this.
oh yeah, no, the subrails, there are the public transits as well as the cargo transits, and Orvid, can you go ahead and roll history? And if you don't add your proficiency bonus to your history, go ahead and add it for this, because this is Dwarven related, specifically to Granite Keep.
This is the first time we're dropping the subrails. This is a big one.
The subrail lore.
Oh, we're dropping a lot of lore today.
Okay, so that would be... I guess
Wait, the green one's cut off.
The green
Well,
one goes south
little scared.
towards the Southern Isles. I don't have that map.
So 13.
So with a 13, it's kind of basic information. You do know that when there are some expeditions deeper down, sometimes the keeps might ask for some assistance, but it's been years with the recent issues that rummaging around in Granite Keep. There've been a number of disagreements between Granite Keep and Stoneholm that you're uncertain if they would be able to ship an entire army on the subrails, but definitely if they tried, that would probably be a declaration of war.
You can't make this easy, can you?
I mean, we could come to some arrangement, potentially. But not without warning, of course.
We'll have to make a few agreements here and there, but...
Right. Last thing we need is
We got
a
some
lot
Some people
of
don't like
miracles.
surprises.
Yeah, I was gonna try and make a hand cannon.
Yes, tell me more about this. This is. I need more of that. Ugh.
You want in?
Maps are boring. Hand cannons are fun.
You want in then?
Duh.
Alright, I pull out some freaking drawings that I scrawled up last night. Like, basic plans of what this thing is gonna be. and half of them, there's like a little knife on the front of it as like a bayonet of sorts. And Sandra just goes on for like 5 minutes on various fantasies and stuff about this new thing that she wants to create.
Well, I guess I'll make blueprints and see what comes out of that.
Wasn't the last
Well, I'm
time
gonna
you
do
messed with fancy runes, you wrecked the whole room?
That was with runes. This is technology.
Don't see a
Orvid, can you make-
difference.
Orvid, can you make another history check for me?
Okay.
Is this the history of cannons check?
Is this just normal history?
Yeah, let's go with it's just normal history. There's, it's something that is okay. Yeah, that's good. So when the topic of messing with cannons and gunpowder comes up, your mind immediately goes to the Kobold and Goblin Tinkerers near Stoneholm, and there is just an extremely terrible reputation of anytime anyone does anything to mess with cannons, explosives, or any form of schematics, it just explodes and kills people. And, like, people are, like, almost on the edge of, like, if a kobold or goblin attempts to get into the mines to test anything, they will kill them on sight. There have been in Stoneholm mines that have collapsed and killed dozens of dwarves because someone wanted to try out a new thing that they thought could revolutionize mining. And wow, weird how explosives, when you aren't careful with unrefined gunpowder, how things kind of get a bit crazy. So, fucking with a cannon in this manner, you're like 80% certain if Sandra tries this, she's probably going to blow off her arm and her ribcage is going to be destroyed. Minimum.
If you're so adamant about this, only work on it one at a time. Nicholas, you stay a good distance away, but close enough that you could potentially revive them.
Okay.
You think I'm gonna blow myself up?
I know you're gonna blow yourself up.
Why would I blow myself up?
Kobolds and goblins have sunk entire caves messing with this powder.
Yeah, but
Only
cannons...
do it in the open.
Yeah, but cannons work. The technology is there. We know that cannons work, we're just doing that, but on a smaller scale that I can carry.
All
That's
I'm
the
saying
untested.
is,
That's the fun.
be careful with it. You might lose an arm or something.
I have 50 feet of rope. We can probably test fire it from a good distance away.
Is losing an arm really the worst that could happen?
Yes! I'm an
The worst that
archer!
could happen is actually die, but
I'm sure there's probably some magical
That's probably
solution to that.
There is not than any that I know of.
Not tried to find someone to appease to get an arm back if you really lost. You don't have a backup plan like, oh, I don't know, some like tome you'll look into, find someone to help you with all.
Galley is just face palming on the other side of.
I'm just saying, there's always options. You don't have to give up if you lose your arm. I mean, what's an arm the name of
I
progress?
would have to give up if I lost an arm.
I mean, she would
could
be
get
left
it
with
back.
I
Just
I
make
guess
deals.
I could mend it. I guess it's possible to
You
mend
see,
it.
cannot mend a fucking arm!
Through magic,
Mending does not
Solutions.
work on people!
not your base
Not with
mending,
that
no.
attitude.
Not your base mending, but more powerful magics, surely.
I
mean, if it's
prosthetics
split across-
exist.
I mean, that too, if you want to be boring about it, but yeah, I suppose that's might as well just do that if you need it that badly and don't want to actually
Boring
pay
about
prices.
it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if you manage to get to into the Wizard City, there are sometimes their creations, if you have the coin, are almost better than the mundane. So, if you end up blowing up your arm, not the end of the world as long as you have enough gold to pay for something in Mithril. So, if your adventures prove to be profitable and all of these endeavors work out for you, and you end up getting your arm blown off, you do have an option. An expensive option, but an option. I wouldn't recommend attempting to mess with the cannon, but things have happened in the past, and if you're not messing with the enchantments itself, then certainly I'd be careful. Plus, you're trying to carry a cannon.
Yes.
You realize how heavy that is.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's trying to make a very small
A
version of
hand.
it.
The
hand.
visual effect would be absolutely amazing if she gets it working, though. Which is like half the reason.
so you're trying to get something that's like, a small tube to carry around that you can shoot out of?
Yes, exactly.
No. I doubt that's possible. Honestly, if you try doing that, the combustion, if you attempted to use it multiple times, the mechanics behind it itself, it's too small. You wouldn't be able to make anything durable enough.
Suppose Mithril could help.
Out
But...
of character, can we pause 1 second?
Oh yeah, go for it. Cool.
Anyway.
Well, I hope that you're ready to hand over a large sum of gold. And likely, honestly, at that point, you'd be messing with platinum and trade bars. So, enchantment's not cheap. Especially on custom projects like that. I don't know how successful of an adventurer that you are, but, more power to you.
Is the shaman in the room?
The shaman is not in the room, actually.
I need to ask him a question.
So, if you would like, since Sandra, you're standing there holding your plate, eating without a table, as heathenous as that is.
Oh, no, the
Having just barely
no,
come
the
back
plate-
from being
the-
around the corner.
The plate got left on my desk in my room.
You didn't even make it back to your room. You hid in the corner.
I did
In the hallway.
briefly.
Very creepy.
but-
Very creepy.
Anyway, so Sandra, you are standing there by the table, and everyone else is kind of sitting there. Dothric, once again, has not skipped a beat and is shoving pancakes into his mouth.
Well, wait, I had to walk over to the table to pull out my maps.
You're standing there at the table, but you're the only one standing, is the thing.
I'll sit down.
Walk over to your spot and take a seat.
Yes.
Well, now, Dothric says between chews, "Isn't this a lively party?"
We're gonna blow Sandra's arms off.
Oh,
You know how
we're
mornings
not.
be, Dolfric?
I can save you some time there and just rip them off myself.
We want an explosion to happen first. More fun that way.
Alright, I'll side with you on that one. He picks up a chicken leg and takes a big bite of it. I like the way these orcs party.
First thing
Yeah.
I'll need if we're gonna try and make a schematic of a hand cannon is, well, a sheet of paper. so I can jot some ideas.
I think I know how we can finance this project.
Oh no, you're not planning of thinking of using the funds of the town, are you?
What? No, God, no. Jesus, you know me better than that.
Hmm.
Hope. Galley.
Yes.
And I get up, I walk over to Galley, and I just go like, I'm wondering if you could help me identify something.
Identify something
And
that
I reach into my bag and I pull out, it took me forever to figure this out, I pull out the necklace of Harnick Planehammer. Does this have any cultural significance or anything?
she looks at it, furrows her brow, and then looks at you. Yes, this is the crest of the granite keep. This is likely what used to be the symbol marking the heir of Granite Keep, which I thought that this was something that, Orvid, you probably should be carrying this if you want to, have any merit to what you're working with. But,
Oh, really?
I
I mean,
Suppose if Orvid's not
I'll
using
take
it, we
it.
could pawn it.
wouldn't recommend trying to pawn that in the wrong hands.
That's why I
Certainly.
asked you first.
Maybe the dwarves would have a better price for that. I don't know.
Well, if one of the merchant lords got a hold of it, then they probably, with the letter that you had, probably make up some bullshit story and attempt to take the kingship of Granite Keep themselves. So, since we don't want to put a merchant lord in complete charge of Granite Keep, with the situation that it's already in now, let's likely just hang on to this one.
I
Probably.
can hold on to it if you want.
Alright, I hand it
Probably
over
would be for the
to-
best.
I hand it over to Orvid, and I will be removing necklace from my inventory. You can name it whatever you want.
So, that is the granite crest that, calling it a necklace, once again, kind of going back when I first described it, not exactly a necklace, it's a big ass emblem that's like 4 inches across that, it's more of a symbol of status, where if you see someone wearing that, you know that definitely they are with Granite Keep in that specific make. Well, it hasn't been used in forever, about 800 years. That was, as you hold it off his body, Harnick Granite's personal symbol of princehood, and that he was the heir to the throne. So, if any dwarf who knows their history were to see that, they would need to be like a very well-researched scholar, but you're not just carrying around. It's no signet ring, that's what I'm gonna say.
Much too big to stamp a letter, isn't it?
You could say that.
Suppose we'll have to show them when we get down to Granite Keep.
Alright, well, that's more or less a good step in the right direction of proving, you have some merit to your claims, but honestly, convincing the merchant lords to just step down from their positions and hand over Granite Keep, honestly, you're probably more likely to find yourself in an alleyway with the wrong type of crowd, but you've been there before, Orvid, and I don't think Dothric would leave you hanging there.
I'm sure there's a way. There's always a way, even if it takes coin.
Ah, yeah, everything does have a price, whether it be coin or blood.
Hmm.
Or rather, a coin than a favor.
Perhaps orcs.
Or
As a way of fostering some trust between the, well, I'd suppose to be the new dwarven regime and the orcs, as it were. Maybe we can help with that.
So basically, looking to sponsor, as in you support.
Yes, of course.
That could help, definitely.
Political power, if not for favors. Definitely have to sponsor the cannon project, though. That's important. That's the most important, I feel.
Well, we'll see about all that. At this point, are we practically through breakfast?
yeah,
I'd
besides
say yes.
Dothric, who's Dothric is still scarfing down, probably on his 4th tankard of orc grog.
He's probably started lunch at this rate.
Yeah, he went from breakfast to brunch and is already you think you heard him talk to one of the goblin servants asking what's on the lunch menu, and the reply was just a concerned face from the goblin.
Please. Please, no.
I'm pretty sure he's one of those people who believes in brunch, dinner, and what's between dinner and breakfast.
Also, second lunch. Very important.
Second lunch, right?
And the midnight snack, don't forget about that.
Yep.
So, you know.
He's one of those people that doesn't gain weight.
He is the weight.
So, currently looking at Dothric, he, like, his current clothing, he's, you know, he has his battle attire, but you'd guess that his casual attire, if you can call it that, he's just wearing a brown shirt that, you know, it's seen some better days. The sleeves are ripped off of it. The bottom is tattered a little bit. But you can see his arms are just rippling muscle. Like, when he throws threats around that he would rip people's arms off, you wouldn't put it past him that he probably has done that in the past.
Beef strong. Very beef strong.
Well, it sounds like you guys have another trip to what's that one shop we visited?
Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
I'll probably stay behind this time, but good luck on your little project of yours.
You know what? I can join in on this. I've basically got everything settled, it sounds like. Might as well sell some things too.
I don't like your friend.
Why? He's nice. They're nice. I don't have the confirmation on that one myself, but yeah. But why not? They're great. Like,
Do you have any evidence to support your claim?
they're a clown.
What exactly would I be claiming?
Why do you distrust them? Exactly. Why do you distrust them so much? What have they done so wrong?
Well, I think they're a demon.
I think you're a goat.
I'm a fawn.
Well, there you go. No, but like, really,
This is
they haven't
different.
done anything
That's
wrong
an
yet, so like,
entirely
what's the
different
problem?
issue.
What could go so wrong with trusting a clown? Like,
What
come
could
on.
go so? I wonder. The last clown you trusted crashed an airship into the Adventure Guild.
And we got so much out of it, like
No,
helping
we did
some
not.
like the end result, we got to meet a very nice lich lady. We got to
Zach,
help some dwarves
Zach,
find
Zach.
the
Zach, let's not bring
Zach.
this up here.
Zach,
Hmm?
Zach.
Yes.
My life has been horrible since I met up with you.
That's a shame. It's been very wonderful for me.
It hasn't been for me.
Aw.
And I get up and leave the room.
Mean.
Well, that was some awkward silence. Well,
Well,
Orvid's just gonna focus on finishing breakfast and maybe getting a mug or two of grog to catch up with his buddy.
Frank was mad at you.
so Dothric is slamming down his tankard and just loudly yells, "Another!"
Yeah,
Man,
I'm not gonna be able to catch up with Dothric, but I can at least participate.
Yep.
an eating contest.
More like a little bit of drinking.
I'm gonna go back to my room and check a few things.
So,
I just thought of something terrible. I
Go
was thinking of
on.
a drinking contest now. I was like, that's not a good idea.
Don't give him ideas.
so, as you know, the servants are assisting in bringing out additional drinks. One of the servants does approach you, Zach, from your side of the table. Well, I must mention that there will be a number of festivities today, including,
yes.
there are, in fact, eating and drinking contests in town, and, all of you are more than welcome to participate as your guests of honor of the chieftain, so, I just wanted to put that out there, as well as if there wasn't anything else that you yourself would mind having, chieftain.
No, I'm set. Thank you for the breakfast.
All right. And if there are any other requests, please do reach out.
So was that conversation loud enough for Orvid to hear the drinking contest bit?
Oh yes. It was kind of this orc. She kind of mentioned it as a the entire table, but mostly aimed at Zach.
Orvid's going to look over at Gally and kind of motion over to Dothric, as in drinking contest.
You just see that emotional sigh just with her entire body. Hi, drinking contest.
He gets up and kind of gives a slap on the back to Dothric. We're gonna win some prizes!
He says, mouthful of chicken and potatoes.
Drinking contest, you lumbering sword!
He swallows, and then just big grin on his face, sparkles in the eyes. You've just said his favorite word combination.
These are his favorite words! Drinking contest, you lumbering sod.
Drinking contest! Alright, what are the drinks? I'm all about this. I hope that there's gonna be a bar fight tonight.
Not get too ahead of ourselves. So I guess I'm gonna babysit Dothric to the best of my abilities.
Oh boy.
Let's fucking
From-
go.
From your history, you know Dothric is
Historically uncontrollable.
yes.
You know what? I kind of want to watch this. I'm gonna get out like a sheet of paper and draw while watching the freaking drinking contest. I really want to see this.
So, one thing that I would like to mention, we are at the beginning of the day. It's probably like 10:30, getting closer to 11. And none of you have really, like, you've been seeing the door to the to the town capital, like, opening and closing periodically, and you've been able to peer out both the windows and the doors. People have walked in. You see that the two retainers that followed Zach here, they actually have shown up and are standing at the doorway, kind of monitoring. And you notice that the town square is bustling. You can hear some lively music beginning to play in the distance, and it is certainly, things are starting to pick up outside, though the festivities probably haven't begun just yet. So there are probably a couple of things you can do around town pre-festival where everything closes down, and unless it's a tavern or restaurant, probably you're not.
My room, does it have a window?
Yes.
What can I see?
So you see that there are, like, cloths hanging in the streets. The sky itself is, mostly clear, a couple of clouds, but there are, orc children and goblins running through the streets. You can see stalls being set up with knickknacks and big, what you'd assume to be some form of ice boxes being brought over to stalls that are lighting up grills to start making kebabs. And do you wish to open the window at all?
I assumed it was already open.
Okay. So, as you were letting some air into the room, you can already begin to smell the cooking of a variety of both baked goods and kebabs and meats, and there is joyous laughter in the streets, and once again you hear that music beginning to play, and it is jovial in nature, and this entire town seems to be enjoying themselves. Like, this is certainly a change from when you initially came in, and especially when you initially met these orcs back at Corlith. They seemed so helpless before, but now life has been brought back to the town, and this strange festivity that is happening. While you're not able to see the main square at all from where you are, looking at the side streets here, there are decorations, and the only thing that you don't like seeing are some of the individuals are wearing face paint, almost similar to what Zach wears.
I gotta get out of this town. Alright, I'm just gonna check a few things. I checked the salt barrier.
You have been quite particular to make sure you are stepping over it to ensure it is not broken.
Alright, just gonna, and I'll do an inventory check, make sure everything's there.
Everything appears to be there, though one thing that you notice in one of your side pouches, you pull out a dead fish. Not sure how that got there.
Okay, I kinda sit there, think really hard for a little bit. I'm like, where did this come from? Have I been swimming there? No, I can't swim.
From outside the window, you hear her.
I shut the fucking window.
As you slam the window
Not
shut.
slam it.
Please,
Just
please, I want to see another pie get thrown.
As you're shutting the window, you can see that there appears to be what you could acclimate to. While you haven't seen many clowns, the baggy outfit and rambunctious colors, they're pushing a cart, and you can see this clownish individual is handing out horns, similar to the ones that you always hear from Zach.
where is Bonko?
So you, after watching that clown cartwheel out the front, they more or less disappeared. You think that potentially you could track them down if you probably went out the front, but you being a ranger and attempting to track down a clown in a orc town, you think you could probably do it.
Okay,
You turned your back on the clown, but can you find them?
that's it from me.
All right. So then the rest of the party is still sitting down. What would you all like to do?
Like I said, I guess in my room I'm gonna start drawing out schematics on how to make a hand cannon.
Go ahead and just make a straight intelligence check.
Oh, intelligence.
Yes.
Please roll a 20. It'd be so
I
funny.
mean, that's what I want, really. Intelligence is a
We're
lot
due
more.
one.
All right. 16's not bad. So the first thing that you need to do before truly making a hand cannon is first remembering how to make a cannon itself, and then kind of reverse engineering it and thinking, okay, taking into account what Gally said, probably, hinges need to be reinforced, and the barrel itself probably will need to be made out of a solid metal. You're probably not gonna want to use just raw, like, non-refined iron. So if you want it to be long-lasting, probably some of the better materials would either be adamantine, which is definitely easy enough to make sure that doesn't break, because adamantine is nigh impossible. It's extremely hard to work in itself, or mithril, which, both of those are ludicrously rare and pricey. So attempting to get to those materials, you're kind of unsure. You're not sure if Buzvrada has any like Damascus type steel, a bone-fired iron, or anything like that. It is like having the schematics down. You're taking a cannon and shrinking it in size, but the parts needed to make sure that this doesn't explode is the hard part. But you feel that you have some solid schematics, though it does take a amount of time to get everything drawn out. So, with that,
Bag, I guess, then, just so I don't forget I have it.
incomplete hand cannon schematics. So, and Orvid and Zach, what do you want to do?
Hmm.
I guess I'll let Zach go first, unless they specifically invite me along.
Got a pile of shitty wands I could try to sell at the magic store. I want to try see if I can try getting that pile of jewels identified at some point,
I want to go with
so it could
you
stop
on
being a
that, by
coin
the way.
flip. Or maybe it should continue to be a coin flip. I don't know. And also, I still have that potion of Cat's Grace, and no one wanted to take it. Or I suppose I could have it actually identified for what it really is beyond just. Or wait, I could just use Eric for that. Where's Eric? Where's Nicholas?
I thought I had the potion of Cat's Grace.
Oh, did you? I have it in my inventory for some reason. In
Oh.
my sheet.
I have the potion of Cat's Grace and one of Giant Strength.
It won't be that hard for you to find me since I'm just in my room drawing schematics. So
Did we ever get a second one, or was it just like a copy?
I think you did get a second one, actually. So,
Did we? Or was it just a miscommunication?
I guess
Just
we
say you have
second
two.
one now. But do we know what they do? Do you know precisely what it do?
We could,
I mean, you can-
we could just ask the magic guy when we're there.
I mean, you can certainly roll Arcana if you want to, Zach.
I'm gonna talk to my friend Nicholas. Cool.
Okay. I mean, if you want to just go right to Nicholas, then certainly, Nicholas, you can go ahead and roll Arcana.
Sup?
yeah, I guess that works too.
This potion, what it do?
Um,
Pretty sure it's some kind of like nimbleness acrobatics thingy, but you know, you can identify stuff,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, I definitely know what it is.
Yeah, Nicholas, you look at this and like, it's just that glance over, and it's like, potion of Cat's Grace. That you confirm it is in fact a potion that does amplify one's natural dexterity. That one likely, since the magical potency on some items it wanes over time, though that one itself, you can tell by the label and quality of the cork that it's probably still good. It lasts for, if I do recall, an hour. I just want to double check here. Actually, I think it is. I'll just say it lasts 10 minutes since I'm not getting a solid answer from the book. So 10 minutes, and the meta, it gives you advantage on all dexterity related skills. So
Neat.
stealth, acrobatics, etc.
We will note that down. Suppose since we have a second, I'll just keep this one. Let it go. Sell a pile of shitty wands if anyone wants to join me on that.
I'll go with you.
Alright.
I have business to attend to with him.
Gally is also going to be going with you to the shop